Hello everyone, and man, good to see you again. Or good to be seen by you again? I don't know, is that weird? Either way, it's been just a hot second, and that's because my wife had a baby. Our baby. He's awesome. Mom and baby are doing great. It's super cool. I'm exhausted, she's exhausted. Totally worth it. Super exhausting, but totally worth it. But that did mean that we had a little bit of a monkey wrench in terms of getting videos out. I certainly wasn't about to record from the hospital, didn't have all my equipment, and also just wanted to soak up all of that time with my wife and my son. So hopefully you can understand that. Thanks for coming back. It's good to see you again. I already said that. That's all right. Let's jump right on into this week's video. Alright, so this is going to be the launch of a new playlist. The whole goal of this playlist is to help you, the DM, learn how to run the game better. Or just give you awesome resources, tips, tools, and tricks to make your table more fun. I know that when I was first starting out, I was terrified, and I could have used all the help I could get. Luckily, there are a lot of wonderful resources available to starting DMs. In fact, I'm going to link one in the description below, one of my absolute favorites. His name is Matt Colville, and he does a phenomenal job of giving you a base understanding of how to run the game. In fact, in the first couple of videos, not only will he teach you how to run the game, he's also going to give you your very first dungeon to run through with your party. So if you're looking for basics on how to run the game, go there first, then come back. I'll be waiting, I promise. So in this video, instead of just teaching you how to run the game, I'm gonna give you a resource that I use to help me prep for my next session. I found that one of the most important things I can do as a dungeon master is to properly prep the session for my party. And sometimes I get a little writer's block when it comes to planning out what it is that I want for the next session. Now please, don't hear me saying that I railroad my players into following all of my plans. Seriously, if you know how to do that, let me know. They pull plenty of punches, and that's part of the fun. But I feel like having a few things planned and tucked away for what the session can hold ultimately helps me to be more prepared. I'm more relaxed, I'm more comfortable, and I'm ready to roll when they are. So without further ado, allow me to introduce the next session prep prompt. I originally hand drew this, and then my wife looked at it and said, "You know I'm a graphic designer, right?" And I said, "Yes, you are." At which point she, in all of her wonderful altruism, decided to take my mock-up and turn it into something really good looking. And yes, this document will be available via a Dropbox link in the description below. You're welcome. But I just wanted to walk you through it and hopefully give you some ideas on how to prep for your next session. Now this could be helpful for either a homebrew campaign or a pre-written campaign. Ultimately, it just gets your head around what the next session can hold for your players. So, without further ado, let's jump right on in. First and foremost, in the top corner here, you're gonna see the session number, all right? Literally, that's it. What session are you on in your campaign? Now, my handwritten one, I decided to go ahead and use for this next week's session with my party, which will be episode 4 next Tuesday. Thanks for your patience there. And so that says session 4. Underneath says session date and time. This is not real world time, but your game time. Keeping track of the calendar is something that's been really helpful for me as a DM, and yes, we're going to do a video on that at some point. But for right now, if you're keeping track of the calendar in your game, this is where that goes. To the right of that, you will see a box called "What kind of session is this primarily?" in which I give you 5 different options for pretty much the generic basis of what the session will likely hold. Is this primarily a roleplay session with a lot of social interaction? Is it a combat session, where most of the time is going to be spent fighting the boss or a huge horde of orcs? I don't know. Is it exploration? Are you exploring a dungeon or an ancient ruin? Is this a travel session, moving from site A to site B, city to city, or are you on your way to a dungeon? Or is this more of a downtime and shopping episode or session? Either way, knowing what the session is primarily will help you gear up and understand what kind of mindset you need to be in when you're prepping your session. And yes, there will be additional sheets later on as I create them, which will give you prompts for those specific sessions to be used in tandem with this sheet. Now, underneath the session number, you see the where is the party starting box. Ultimately, this just helps you remember where you last left off. Where are they physically? Where are they, I don't know, emotionally, mentally, but probably physically. Their geographical location or planar location. I I don't know. Maybe you're a lot farther along in your campaign than I am. And the box right underneath it is where are they headed? What's their goal? What are they trying to do? Where are they trying to go? To the right of that box, you will see the which character is going to be in the narrative spotlight box. Now, I'm not saying that only 1 or 2 characters get the spotlight the whole session, but is there a specific thing that is happening this session for a character's backstory? Or something that one of your players has expressed a desire for to help shape their character for the rest of the campaign? Hint, hint, that might be this next session for one of my players. Underneath that is the plot premise. What do you envision happening? Now, the key word here is envision, because your players might have a thing or two to say about what actually happens in the session. In fact, they're going to. This is ultimately just what you have in mind as far as the major events of the session. What are the things that you would like to see accomplished? To the right of all of those spaces is a large open space I've titled Free Space, or Doodling, if you're into doodling. For instance, perhaps there's a symbol on an amulet that one of your players is going to find, and you just wanted to doodle out what that symbol looks like as a quick reference for whenever you're in the moment, and it would help you to describe it to your players. Go ahead and put it there. Or maybe you want to draw a quick map, a battle map, something that inspires you, gives you some sort of, I can't brain today apparently, a head movie that makes you want to do things. I don't know, but all of that fun stuff can go in here. Underneath the plot premise is this. What is the ideal goal / endpoint of the session? In other words, where can you feel satisfied to leave the session off as the dungeon master? And underneath that it says, summarize this in 1 sentence and give it a good verb. Verbs are important, so ultimately, what is it that you want them to accomplish this session, and narrow it down to 1 sentence? The elevator pitch of your session, as it were. This will help you keep on track and understand what is important about this session and where do you need to go with your planning. Underneath that box, in the bottom left corner, you will see, are there any threats to the party that exist in this session? Well, are there? Now, that might not necessarily mean combat. Perhaps there's a social threat or an environmental threat. All of those should go right down there. Next to that, I have a box, well, this one here, it's small, but super important. How much XP is needed, or where's the next milestone for a level up? This helps you gauge whether or not this session might be a session that your characters level up. If it is, then try to think about what that's gonna mean narratively. If it's not, then hey, don't worry about it. Just remember that that will be coming up at some point. Leveling up is so much fun for your players. Make sure that that comes at a fun moment to feel like a reward for really doing a good job in your campaign. Every level up should feel important. Your characters are gaining power and notoriety in the world. That's a good thing. So keeping that in the forefront of your mind, it might help you to understand maybe this is the session to do it. We've got a big fight coming up, or this big narrative moment, or they're reaching this final goal. This could be it. As opposed to, well, it's been a second, maybe I should level them up. That might not feel quite as rewarding. So keeping this in the forefront of your mind will hopefully help to enhance your character's enjoyment of leveling up at the table. Underneath that is a little countdown box. Countdown to important events or dates. Is there something important that your characters want to go do, like TravelerCon? Or is there some religious holiday that's coming up? Go ahead and write that there, and then in the slot that says time, how much longer until that event arrives? Are we talking a matter of hours, days, weeks, months, years? Who knows? If the answer is years, you might not need to put it on this sheet. I'm just saying, this is for your next session. And then over here we have the last 2 boxes. This one here is one of my favorites. What is exciting to you about this session? You, the Dungeon Master. If you're having fun, your players are gonna have fun too. So long as you're not that weird, twisted, maniacal person that just likes to watch the world burn, in which case your characters probably won't have a whole lot of fun. Seriously, seek help. But if you're more along the lines of a good storyteller, then if you have a fun time, your players are gonna have a fun time too. And as a good DM, if your players are having a fun time, then you also are having a fun time. And that's a good thing. That's why we DM. Typically, no one else wants to do it, and so you're the one left doing it. Well, sometimes. But if that is the case, embrace it. Your players trust you enough to hand you the keys to their adventure mobile. Have fun. Enjoy it. Tell a story they want to get caught up in. Present them a moment or a world or really just an epic that allows them to be the hero. That's really why we're doing this. And then psych yourself up with this box here. What are you hoping to accomplish out of this session? What are the things that you're looking forward to? Is there a moment you've been building up to and this is finally the session you get to reveal an NPC's secret or a part of a character's backstory? These are super fun events and they deserve all the hype and glory that you've been waiting for. So go ahead, treat yourself. Underneath is a helpful little chart. Chart might be the wrong word, but there's a list of 4 blank spaces for you to write down names of NPCs in case your characters want to ask the name of a random guard or a baker or, I don't know, someone they encounter on their travels or in the streets. Those people are real and they have names, and just having a couple little names jotted down here could save you a lot of headache and a lot of stammering and stuttering behind the DM screen. So yeah, that's it. I hope this is helpful for you. I know it is for me, and if it's helpful for me, well, maybe it's helpful for you. Hope so. You decide. And if it is, let me know. As I said, I plan on giving more resources and things like that in the future. There will certainly be more documents for the specific types of sessions like encounter, combat, roleplay, exploration, travel, downtime. I'll try to get all of those whipped up and ready in another video. But for now, this is it. Hopefully this helps to get over any kind of writer's block or provide some sort of inspiration as you prep your character's next adventure. And ultimately, if this wasn't super helpful and I missed something, let me know in the comments down below. Always looking to improve my craft and especially my handouts. So if there's something I missed that you would like to see in a session prep document, hey, shoot me a message or a comment. Either way, thank you so much for sticking around. Just a reminder to like and subscribe to the channel so that you can see more of these videos in the future. And also, we have a Discord, and that Discord is growing, and it's awesome, and they're cool people there. We talk about fun things. A lot of it's D&D, but it's not all D&D. You should totally come and join. It's been a really fun community so far, and hey, thank you so much for being a part of it. Once again, like and subscribe. Oh, jeez. Don't hit your microphone. And next Tuesday, I believe we will be back to our session recap videos. So, I look forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, adventure's calling. Are you listening?